Right, Amy? Okay, so I make sure. All right, hi everybody. I am super pumped to be here. But first off, I have fierce love for the Vias. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Thank you. That's like the coolest ever. Um, I have fierce love for Amy and Melissa. I love these two, and just so you all know, when I really love you, like I do Melissa and Amy, we got pretty real on our conversation about strengths. It got pretty intense, but it was so good. And the fact that they invited me here to talk with you all makes me feel like, okay, it worked. We did something good and we helped somebody, and that was what matters to me the most. And so I'm not gonna surprise you all when I say that these two lovely women are just amazing people, and I'm grateful that I get to call them friends. And so, the one thing I love about doTERRA so much is that when you grow your business and you stick around, you've discovered the secret. The biggest secret, I think, to building this business is making lots and lots of cross-line friends, as many as you can. And so you go to every doTERRA event you can, because you just run into the same people, you connect and you make friends, and they become kind of like family in many ways. And so I'm just grateful to Amy and Melissa, because I honestly feel like you all are like family to me and matter to me that much. So I'm grateful to be here. First off, so we are going to get in hardcore depth about doTERRA. About strengths and doTERRA. Just a couple of like cool little things, just like nuggets that help you get really fired up about this. When doTERRA introduced this to us a couple of years ago, at first I thought I really did. I rejected it, to be real with you all. I was the reason why I was just thinking like the thought that entered my head was like, how many of these personality tests do I have to take in order to do this business, right? It was just like, I'm a blue squiggle, triangle, whatever. Like it was just like everything out there. And I'm going to be real with you. The reason why I started to like dislike all these things is because I felt like they grouped me. And they put me in groups, like you're with the blues, or you're with the squiggles, or you're with the triangles, or whatever. And I just kind of like, it didn't quite mesh with me inside. And so when the strengths thing got introduced, of course, all I did was open up my top five. I'm like, I'm not paying an extra money. I'm just doing the bare minimum here. And I showed up at leadership. And when Jeremy Brickeisen and him and his team with Gallup, when they talked, I don't know, does everyone remember when they drew a star? Does everyone remember this? Darn, I need to do this, because I really want you all to see. This is the thing that really like made me go, oh my gosh, there's something really awesome here. And so I'll just do it super fast. And I'm not an artist, so good luck on this one. All right. It'll serve the point. Okay. So here was the star that they drew, right? And the way the way I took it was that the top points of the star are like your top five strengths, for example. Okay. And the bottom parts of the star are where your weakness. We'll call it weakness for the sake of this argument, even though I don't believe in that word anymore. So like up here, I'm just to get some colors here. Oops, let's do blue. So up here was like where you are your best, right? This is where you have the highest potential. This is where you are. Whoops. This is where you are amazing. Okay. Bear with me. There we go. Okay. This is where you're amazing, right? And then when we try to do things this way, which we're going to talk about a lot today, when you try to do things this way, this is where you are your least effective or weakest or whatever. And what we were taught at a very young age is to not worry about our strengths anymore and just develop our weaknesses, right? So in other words, take these here and raise them in this direction, and this one here in this direction, and this one here, right? And kind of by doing this, what this means by developing and working on your weaknesses, it means neglecting your strengths. It really does. It leaves a lack of opportunity to grow your strengths. So your strengths end up becoming like this. They kind of go in this direction. Is everyone following me? Right? And when they showed me this diagram, I was like, okay, where are we getting at? What we're getting at is this, is that at some point, if you work really hard and you develop your weaknesses, at best, you're going to get to about here. And then we bring down our strengths and we become this. this is basically what happens when we focus on working on our weaknesses. We come this circle with where our strengths are no longer our strengths, and our weaknesses, we can't even call them strengths, because like, I'm not an artist, as you can tell. If I went to school and studied and worked hard to be a better artist, at best, I would be at about here. At best. And all that time, I will be neglecting my strengths. And I was like, okay, there's something cool to this. And I became, for a lack of a better word, obsessed with strengths. I wanted to know everything. Right then and there, I opened up my Full 34, and I just, like, for me, I'm like, this might be the secret to something that I've wanted my whole life, was to believe that who I was all I ever needed to be. I've gone through most of my life believing that I wasn't enough, or there was something wrong with me, right? Can y'all relate to this a little bit in some ways, right? So when I saw that, I thought, okay, well, maybe there's a way here. And I'm just going to tell you all, I became extremely obsessed to the point where I started learning about how the strengths work. I read a full 60-page report that Gallup put out on the history of strengths, and the history of how they come up with these questions to decide what your strengths are. And I wanted to know why Don Clifton created it. Like, I wanted to know everything. There are some things on this report that I read, that I learned, that I've applied when I'm coaching people with strengths, that doTERRA and Gallup don't even talk about. And I don't know why. I don't even know why they don't talk about it. So I'm gonna share that stuff with you all here today. You're gonna get stuff that, like, I wish doTERRA would have talked to us about 2 years ago. So you're gonna get all of that here today in a very short amount of time, I promise. It's gonna be awesome. And so then I opened up a private group for free. I let people go in a private group for 6 weeks, and I just talk to people about their strengths, because this is my deal. If we're going to learn about strengths, I need to know how to actually use them. I need to know what to do with these strengths. It's not good enough to just know what my strengths are. I need to know what to do with them, and understand why I don't just use them all the time. And so I started working with about 150 people for 6 weeks, and I just one person after another. And then I went and got, I did the certification course with Gallup. By the way, that's not cheap. I was surprised at how expensive that was. But doTERRA must have spent a fortune getting their whole crew out there to take this assessments, but to get the certification course. So I did that, came back, I did another 6 weeks with another 150 people. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm learning some really awesome stuff, and I wanted to work with individuals. And so I started working with individuals. For 2 straight weeks, I worked with 4 people a day for an hour on their strengths. And all I did was I just helped them out and helped them out. And then I started, am I painting the picture how obsessed I became? Like, this is real. This is roughly over about 2 years, I worked with at least 1,000 people. And this is something that I talk about and work with every single day. So here's some cool resources for you all. I want you all to know about these. Number one is I've got a podcast, and the podcast is called Unleash Your Strengths. It's obviously it's free. You can go listen to it. It's awesome. I suggest you start with episode 1 rather than starting with the most recent. So Unleash Your Strengths is a great podcast. And then every Saturday, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/growwithEddie. You go on there every Saturday, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I go in there and I talk about strengths, and I actually work with people one-on-one. So you can see how this all really gets into how it works. So you get to see me do things live, and it's pretty awesome. It's like my favorite thing. I have started a private group a short while back because I really wanted to train people on all the advanced stuff on how to use doTERRA's, or how to use strengths to build doTERRA specifically. But then I got into more awesome stuff. Like I started a group for helping people with their marriage. This came really bizarrely how this works. So I have like 80 people right now that are going through my marriage program, and it's like on its 6 weeks, it's almost done. So when that program's done, that's going to be part of the private group and all. It's got a lot of stuff, my friends. There's just so much to talk about, and I'll explain why in a minute, why there's so much. But ultimately, after all this hard work, my favorite was when I went to the Diamond Retreat, and you're all going to love this. I went to the Diamond Retreat, and Emily Wright came up to Angela and I. and they hung out with, she hung out with me and a couple other diamonds, and we're all sitting in a circle, and Emily pulled out her strengths. and I was like, I want to see that. I was like, just play cool, Eddie. Just play cool, be calm, just be cool. Because she was sharing the strengths with my wife and not me just yet. And then Angela goes, my husband wants to see your strengths. And I'm like, yes, I would love to see them. Because Emily came up to say, hey, Eddie, I've been hearing about what you're doing with strengths, and I hear a lot of good things. So, because I've been getting hired by a lot of blue diamonds and presidential diamonds to coach their whole teams on strengths. Pretty awesome. Anyway, so right there in front of all the diamonds, it took me about 2 minutes, and I went through Amy's top 10 strengths in front of everybody. Everyone's like leaning in, everyone's wanting to hear. And there's some cool things I learned about Emily's strengths. I'm just going to tell you all right now. This is the company to be in. Do not, and I mean this, do not go for any other company. Don't try any other thing, whatever. Don't try to hop on some other cool thing that might be out there. As long as that woman is like the running this company with the leaders, I am in. I am not going anywhere. I know her strengths. And Amy and I got kind of real with her strengths right there in front of everybody. She came to me the very next day and said, Eddie, I just want you to know what you did with my strengths in those 5-10 minutes. Nobody in Gallup was able to do. She literally said, what you're doing is beyond even them. Please keep it up. You found your calling. doTERRA needs this right now. She specifically said that. I've since then, and by the way, when Emily Wright tells you to go all in, you do what she says. Okay. And when she did that with me, I'm like, here's my license. I'm not holding back. I'm going all in. This is what I'm going to do for a very long time, probably the rest of my life. I keep telling people this. Since then, I've been in doTERRA's offices and trained their account managers twice. And they're already talking about having me come back in again for a third time and work with their account managers with strengths. How cool would it be to actually get personalized advice from account manager based on your strengths, right? I'm in there right now talking to them. And then and Amy, I haven't told you this yet. I just got a call the day before yesterday. Emily asked me to go to Canada to work at the diamond something. There's a diamond retreat or something going on in Canada. So I'm going to be going out there. So tomorrow I go to doTERRA and we plan it like for 2 hours on this workshop we're going to do out there. So y'all, I want you to know this is something that, like, this is my baby. And when we're done here today, okay, I'm done with the setup now. When we're done here today, you're going to get some really great stuff that's going to make a big difference. So real quick, I just want to tell you everybody. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what's awesome about strengths so that you can explain this to other people and get other people to open up their full 34 report. If you don't have your full 34, you will in the next 10 or 15 minutes, you'll want to open it up. You'll know why. So we're going to talk about what strengths is awesome. We're going to talk about how to apply your strengths to your business. So I'm going to get like real specific based on what your results are. And then at the end, let's see what else. Oh, at the end, we're going to talk about what happens when you try to use your strengths inauthentically. And we'll talk about where like where it drains you, where you feel this physical drain on your body and so on. So we're going to cover those 3 things tonight. All right. And everybody here will have like some specific steps to build their business starting immediately in a way that's truly authentic. So does that sound good? Yeah. All right. So Eddie, first off,
do you have a code by any chance? People were using Take 20 and it's not working.
It's not working anymore. I gave that code out when I found out about it because I heard about it through an insider in Gallup and they pulled it.
Okay. So I did hear that for the month of November, they were taking 10% off at checkout. So yeah, you're trying to unlock, that's what you can do.
Yeah, and if you took the assessment 2 years ago, like most people in doTERRA did, all you got to do is pay the difference, and then they'll automatically give you your full 34. You don't have to take the assessment again. And I recommend don't bother taking the assessment again. Just go off of the results you did 2 years ago, and today you'll find out why. Okay, so let's go into the things. First off, I need to do a quick kind of like a baseline check here. We've got 12 people here. I think that's including me. How many of you all have heard me talk about strengths maybe once or twice before? Okay, so Lindsay, Laura, are either of you, Lindsay or Laura, are either of you in my private group? Just curious. No? Laura's typing while eating.
Maybe.
All right, so that's okay. That's cool. So we'll just get an idea, everybody. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to cover the basics and understand why strengths are awesome. All right, and this will be pretty cool. So first off, I love numbers because I love how numbers can tell stories. And what I'm going to share some numbers with you right now that is going to be very inspiring. In just a couple of minutes, you're going to love this. So what I want you to do is have your notebook out, write these numbers down. So when you take, first off, when you take this assessment, there's a thing that I want everybody to write down at the very top of the page. This is like golden rule number one. Golden rule number one, strengths, okay, in this concept of Clifton strengths. Strengths has nothing to do with what you can or cannot do. Okay, I want you to write that down. Strengths has nothing to do with what you can or cannot do. Because I keep getting these questions from people saying, well, I don't have these strengths high. Does that mean I can't do that? Defer to rule number one. Strengths has nothing to do with what you can or cannot do. Strengths is how you do everything your way. So the big secret I want to let you all know is that there is no right way to do anything. There's only one way, and it's your way. And we're going to get really crystal clear about what that is. Okay, so let's talk about numbers. When you take this assessment, Gallup gives you these averages and kind of helps you understand how specific this assessment really is for you. And so when you take the assessment, the chances of another, so this is really important, I want you to write this down. The chances of another person having the same top 5 as you, but in different order. Okay, the order matters. So the chances of another person having the same top 5 strengths as you, but in different order, is 1 in 280,000. All right, 1 in 280,000. The chances of another person having the same top 5 as you, but in that exact same order, is 1 in 33 million. That's right, Geraldine. Wow, right? It's a big difference. So let's have some fun with this. I love this. Does anyone here know how many people, according to the last census, how many people are on this planet? Lindsay says 2.5 billion. Anybody else? Laura says 7 billion. Closer. So it's 7.7 billion people on the planet. All right, who's got a calculator? What we're going to do is we're going to divide those big numbers I just gave you by 7.7 billion. And you're going to come up with 2 different numbers, and we're going to talk about what's so cool about these numbers. Why are we talking about this? This is really inspiring stuff right here. So 280,000 by 7.7 billion. See if anybody can pull up that number. And then somebody else divide 7.7 billion by 33 million. You got to turn your phone sideways to do it that way, because you got to get all the numbers. All those zeros got to fit. Okay, there it is, 233. Okay, so 233 is 33 million divided by 7, or 7.7 billion divided by 33 million. That's 233. So write that number next to the 33 million, 233. Who's got the other one? 280,000 divided by 7.7, or 7.7 billion divided by 280,000. 27,500. Write that number down next to the 280,000 one. Okay. So what does that mean? Here's what's cool. The chances of another person on this planet, if everyone on the planet took the assessment, the chances are of another person having the same top 5 as you in different orders, 27,500. That means that's you in a room with 27,500 other people. Okay, I don't know about you. It's hard to feel unique when you're in a room full of that many people, right? But when we now break it down to the people that have the same top 5 as you in the exact same order, and this is on the whole planet, okay? 233 people, and that's it. You all getting this? And we're just talking about the top 5. That's it. The chances of another person having the same top 6 as you in the exact same order is more than 1 in 7.7 billion. So what does that mean? What does that mean, ladies? That means just from, go ahead, Amy.
Well, they were one of a kind.
Yeah, just from the top 6. Just from the top 6, you are unique compared to anybody currently living on this planet. Just from the top 6. And when we open up the full 34, that's bigger than there have ever been people on the planet. And never will be. That number is so big. What does that mean? And I want you to write this down. This is what it means. You are infinitely unique. Cannot be duplicated. I want you to write that down. I am infinitely unique and cannot be duplicated. We now have mathematical proof. But that number should speak to some of you, at least spiritually, right? This makes sense. That's why I love this assessment so much. It shows me how I am different. Now here's a really cool little fun thing. I am infinitely unique. Have any of you, how many of you here struggle with finding builders? Okay, so just in this room alone, a lot of people struggle finding builders, and I get it, I totally understand. What we just proved here is that the problem you have with your doTERRA business is common, but you are infinitely unique. That means that the solution to your problem is you. You are the solution. You just got to be you, and that's it. Here's another one. How many of y'all have ever gone to a training or an event or a workshop or whatever, saw someone on stage, got inspired, and then did the dreaded compare thing? And you compared yourself to that person and became deflated. I want you to realize that that person that's on that stage, just like you, also infinitely unique, cannot be duplicated. My friends, there is no one to compare yourself to. Has anyone ever gone to a beach or a pool or anything where people are, in their bathing suits and actually tried to find 2 people with the same body type? You got to try it. It's mind-blowing. I can't do it. Like, I look around, I see a lot of people with nice looking bodies, but no one looks alike. None. And I keep thinking to myself, what are we comparing to? There is nothing to compare to because I am the only thing that is me. There's nothing else like me, nor will there ever be. Just like everybody else around me, right? So we can stop the comparison. Here's your license to let go of comparison. It is unfair to them and you. It's illogical. It means nothing. But why do we do it? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why we do it. That'll be the last thing we cover when we talk about your bottom strengths. Well, that's going to be fun. Okay. So, all right, everyone getting this? I am infinitely unique. Okay, now let's look at this. So now we got to figure out, okay, and that's the first part. We understand why strengths is awesome. It shows me how I'm unique. Now let's understand who am I? Where is my energy highest? And so on. So how many of you here have your full 34 report? Raise your hand. Okay. That's half. That's pretty good. Okay, we got to fix that. It needs to be 100%. But I'll explain why in a minute. So what I want you to do is look at your strengths assessment. Okay, make sure you got it with you because we're gonna dig deep into this. All right. First off, some notes. Your top 10 strengths. Now I could explain how I came up with all this, but basically this came from working with almost about 1,000 people over the last couple of years. And so far, this is changing lives, okay? So that's kind of how I came. I want you to know I've paid the price to learn this stuff. Your top 10 strengths are where your energy is highest, okay? It's where you are your most influential. It's where you are most productive. It's where you are your most creative. It's where you are your most connecting of other people and is where you build relationships best, okay? Is in your top 10. So I want you to think about your strengths as like tools. I like to look at them as people with really specific one-dimensional personalities. But they're essentially tools that you use to get things done, connect with people, be creative, and ultimately move people forward. Your top 10 strengths are where your energy is highest. Your bottom 5 is the opposite. Energy lowest. Okay? So your energy is lowest in your bottom 5. That means when you try to do things that way, you feel a physical drain on your body, and you are not near, like you are your least authentic. You are your least effective when it comes to getting things done. You're least productive, right? You are your least influential. You disconnect from people more often than not. And of course this is where you're least creative. Okay. So it has the opposite. So since your top 10 is where you are your best, what I came up with working with other people is starting off with, how can I look at my strengths report without having to know the names and how all the strengths work, and just start right away, like really fast. So what I'm going to teach you right now will help you understand you very fast, but it'll also help you understand the people in your business who you should be getting them to take their strengths assessment as well, to be able to understand them in just minutes, so much faster than what we were having to learn when we were at Gallup, when we were watching with Gallup. So what Gallup did was they took these 34 talents and strengths and they broke them up into 4 leadership domains. Okay? And they're color coded. So let's see if I can pull up my report before it. Okay, cool. So they're color coded. If you can see, this is mine. Here we go. Okay, so these are mine. And my top 10 are highlighted, as you can see. So they've got, the purples are executing. All right, we're going to talk about what these domains mean. And guess what? I found out they have their own energy. They have their own way of wanting to do things. So we'll talk about what that means. So executing is purple. Influencing is yellow or orange. I couldn't tell you which one. It looks like yellow to me. People keep telling me it's orange. So there's yellow, influencing. Relationship building is blue. And strategic thinking is red. Okay. And by the way, doTERRA spent a fortune having Gallup break down the strengths of all the top leaders in the company, and they found no pattern, 0. Okay. So your strengths have nothing to do with the future. They're not crystal balls. You can't look at a person's strengths and decide what a person is going to do or not going to do. Okay. So just so you all know. So no strengths comparison, no comparisons, no strength shaming. Not around me. So, so these 4 domains all have their own energy, their own vibe, their own way that they like to do things. All right. So we're going to write them down, and I want you to know them all. I've synthesized them down to really simple explanations. So there's executing. They care that things. I'm going to put things get done right. Okay. That's executing. Executors, people of high executing strengths, have a desire to see that things are getting done right. Okay. And getting done right could be fast. It could be slow. It could be right. It could be fast. It could be a lot of things. It has nothing to do with speed. So the next one is influencing. And what influencing desires is simply to move people forward. All right. So move people forward. That's the influencing desire. Relationship building. Oh, I gotta tell you this part. Okay, hold on. Relationship building is connect with the right people. And the right people could be a lot of people. It could be a small amount of people. It could be with people with small talk or people with deep conversations only. And then the last one is strategic thinking. Strategic thinking is to think, create, and learn, or combination of 2. So it's like think, create, and learn, or think and learn, or create and learn, or think and create. Okay. So those are the energies that each 4 of those have. One of the things I read in this report was that Don Clifton, the guy who created Strengths about 27 years ago, by the way, it was only 10 years ago that they actually started to group them into these 4 domains, which was genius. It changed how I help people. This is so good. But Don Clifton said, and I want you to write this down, we develop talents and strengths based on desires. I want you to write that down. We develop talents and strengths based on desires. It's like there's something that we want, and we decide what strengths that we want to use in order to get those desires. So that means that your top 10 is not just like how you do things best. It actually shows you what you care about most. So here's the first part what you all want to do. Now, for those of you that only have your top 5, it's not going to be as accurate because you've only got 5. Essentially, what you've done is you're teasing me with your top 5. There's 29 other strengths that I got to know what they are. But at least this will give you some help. So I'm going to encourage you all to open up your full 34. If you've got your full 34, you can do this very easily. You take a look at your top 10 and just count. How many of the strengths do you have in your top 10 in these domains? And you're going to see there's all kinds of different combinations. So I want you to go ahead and count them right now. Now, if you've got only your top 5, totally fine. Go ahead and count those, and then get your full 34 as soon as possible, because you're going to want to know the next 10. Essentially, your top 12 or 13 strengths are all strengths that you like to use, but your top 10 are like the really synthesized, like really where you are authentic. Okay, so go ahead and share. For those of you that have counted, what do you got? What do you got? So let's see. Laura says, I have 4 of my top 10 in relationship building. No surprise. Awesome. Cool. Amy says 5 of my top 10 are executing. Okay, cool. What I want you to do is count them all, and you're going to have some kind of combinations of like 3-3-3-1 or 4-3-2-1 or 3-3-2-2 or like Amy, probably 5-2-2-1. Yeah. Something like that, right? Oh, look, I got it right. 5-2-2-1. Okay, so count. Okay, there we go. So Laura says 3 executing, 4 relationship building, 2 influencing, 1 strategic. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want you to do. Danielle says 5 of my top 10 are relationship building, 3 are executing, 2 are strategic. Cool. Okay, you guys are doing this. All right, now here's what I want you to. Here's the next thing I want you to look at. Okay, I'm gonna make sure you've got this written down. I'm about to erase the screen. If you don't have it written down, I'll give you a minute to write these things down, or at least write down the ones that are you. So executing, people of high executing love to see things get done right. Influencers love to move people forward. Relationship builders connect with the right people. Strategic thinkers think, create, and learn, or a combination of 2 or 3. All right. Emily, you good? I see you writing feverishly. You good? Okay. All right, here we go. So here's what I want you to do next. When a person has 3 of a particular domain in their top 10, then that desire is important. So if you have 3, not 3 or more, just 3. If you have 3, like let's say if you have 3 relationship building or 3 influencing or 3 executing or whatever, then that desire, which is attached to it, is important. If you have 4, the desire is really important. Okay, it jumps up pretty fast. All right. Amy has 5 executing strengths. For her, the desire to get things done is everything. Okay, I'm gonna say 5 plus. So 5 or more, it's pretty much what dominates your whole, like your just everything you do. Here's a great example. Does everyone here know Simone Lesu? No? A couple of people? Okay. So for those of you, if you don't know who Simone works for doTERRA. He's awesome. But if you ever get to meet Simone, you will notice that he's always around people. Simone has 7 relationship building strengths in his top 10. He and I have had a long conversation, actually multiple conversations, about his desire to connect with people. It's a very powerful desire. And so people of high relationship building strengths, they have like 7, for example, they have a desire to connect with people with no agenda beyond that. They just want to be present, and you know, they can be present with a person who's, you know, down on their luck or even unhappy. And they can, I'm not saying they always will, but they can also be around people that are excited. People of high relationship building strengths love to see people moving forward, but never at the expense of the connecting. Right? So how do you know that? When you got like a strength like developer, yeah, chances are you've got developer high and command very low, which means that you love to see people move forward. So you compliment them and you really you encourage them. You tell them, oh my gosh, you're really great. And you're really sending them signals. You should do that more often. But because command is so low, you won't just tell them to do it. You won't demand it. People of high relationship building strengths enjoy seeing people move forward, would never go out and just tell them to do it. Okay? When it comes to influencers, the opposite. Influencers need to see people move forward. Enjoy the connection, but need to see people moving forward. So much so that they might even, on occasion, put the relationship at risk if they know for a fact it's going to help them move forward. Relationship builders want people to like them, but are willing to risk it if it means a person is going to move forward. That means they're really good at establishing where a person is, okay? Where they want to go, how they want to get there, and most importantly, how they can help. My friends, I have 5 influencing strengths in my top 10. It is obsessive. My desire to learn and use and understand strengths was all about being able to help people move forward fast, efficiently, right? Without me having to ask them to be something that they're not. So influencers do whatever they can to move people forward. Executors just want to see things getting done right. And that could be done with rituals, structure, routines like discipline, or it could just be through values like belief and responsibility. It's about productivity, knowing that things must be done. There has to be some kind of work to create a physical result. For example, executors, if you've got 3 or more executing strengths, here we are 40 minutes in, probably freaking out, wondering when I'm going to just get to the point of what you're supposed to do, right? I get you. Don't worry. We're going to get lots of productivity here. You just have to understand the rules here first. So I got you. So executors don't like to spend a lot of time analyzing stuff, kind of like I'm doing right now. They don't like it. It's unproductive. Let's just do. And they'll say things like that. I don't understand why people don't just do things. Why are they so busy thinking? Right? And they get really frustrated with, for example, some relationship builders who are more concerned with connecting than doing. All right? So who's getting some good stuff from this so far? I'm seeing a lot of smiles here. Y'all, okay, good. All right, so the last one, strategic thinkers. And by the way, for executors, this is what's really, really cool. Executors who don't have a lot of analytical strengths up high, little secret, you get creative and thoughtful in the middle of producing and doing. Like my wife, she's a high executor. How she comes up with strategies and ideas, she likes to go in the backyard and pull weeds. So she's getting things done. She's creating a result, and her mind starts to come up with these creative themes. It's pretty cool. Amy's laughing because that's totally Amy, right? All right. So when you see Amy producing high level, trying to execute, she's trying to think, she's trying to figure out what to do, but you can't do it without doing something. So where was I? Okay, strategic thinkers. Let's talk about the strategic thinkers, because there's probably quite a few of you here. doTERRA's got a lot of strategic thinkers because the science behind oils is very fascinating and exciting, so they get attracted to it. Strategic thinkers love using their heads for things. Like for them, high strategic thinkers, 3 or more, they actually produce up here with no physical result. They just get a lot done up here, which means they make executors a little crazy. Okay, because see, a strategic thinker can go for a long walk, come back and feel like they got a lot done, and an executor will be like, you did nothing, you went for a walk. You know, like they'll go crazy. But a strategic thinker will be like, you have no idea, I got really clear, now I'm gonna go to work. It's kind of cool. Strategic thinkers also enjoy taking in information and either holding it for themselves or keeping it on some kind of shelf for other people later. So I'm talking about the difference between like input and learner, okay? Strategic thinkers love to just get in their heads and visualize and think and work things out in their head. Strategic thinkers also enjoy being alone occasionally. Not always, but they kind of need some alone time so that they can work through a lot of stuff. How many of you all have 3 strategic thinking strengths in your top 10? Okay, Melissa, Lindsay, yeah. Am I speaking your language here? Yeah. It's a really beautiful thing. I have 5 influencing strengths in my top 10 and 3 strategic thinking. My wife is 4 influencing strengths and 3 executing. So we both desire to move people forward. She does, I think. That's basically it, right? And it used to make us crazy that I would see her going and doing things without strategy, and she would see me not doing any things and overthinking. And when we understood the value of those differences, our marriage transformed. Like overnight, our marriage became 10 times better because we both embraced our differences. Hence, the marriage group started. That's how that kind of came about. All right. So now that we understand the 4 domains, I want you to do this for a second, and I want you to write down what I call a strength statement. All right. The strength statement goes like this. You start with you look at the strengths that you have, only the ones you have 3 or more of, okay? And you put them in order from the highest to the lowest. Now, if you got some of you probably have a tie, it's totally fine. If you've got like if some of you have like two domains with 3 strengths in it, or 3 with 3 in it, something like that, it's totally fine. Just put it in an order that you feel comfortable with. And it goes like this. The strength statement goes like this. I love to do everything. I love to do everything in a way. I love to do everything in a way that honors my desire. I love to do everything in a way that honors my desire to, and then you put in the little energy behind each of the strengths. And so here's an example. For me, I have 5 influencing and 3 strategic thinking. That means that I love to do everything in a way that honors my desire to move people forward and think, create, and learn. Get it? That's it. Write down your statement. If you have a question, just shoot it, or you can unmute yourself or put it in the chat, and I can help. So not everybody gets this right away, and it's totally cool. And I can help you work them out. But essentially what we're doing here is very quickly, we're establishing where your energy is highest, where you love to do everything. For example, in doTERRA, if you're a high relationship builder, whenever you have to do something in this business that you feel would put relationships at risk, you will not do it. And then you'll beat yourself up because you think you're supposed to, right? Here's one example. People with 4 or more relationship building strengths tend to struggle with their power 3, like their 1500 power 3, for example, or the 250, or they struggle with fast starts, or even rank advancing. They struggle because they can't see how building their power 3 helps them build relationships. Not automatically. They have to think about it, right? Did that resonate with anybody here? A little bit? Okay. I love to do everything in a way that honors my desire to connect with people and get things done. Laura, does that feel right? Okay. So do we want Laura to spend a lot of time studying and learning the science behind everything? No. That would be a bad thing, right? Laura, you do your best studying when you're in the presence of people, learning about their issues and their problems and applying oils and learning that way. Yes?
Do you know what Laura is? Can you guess her profession?
No.
I'm a therapist, a counselor.
There you go. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot of science, although you're probably required to study a lot to do what you did, which was probably excruciating, is my guess.
Yeah, right? Like, just give me my paper.
Yeah. But you got through it knowing that on the other end of that report was going to be a person you get to work with.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. And be productive, right? Tell the people what to do. And then they come back and go, I did it. And you're like, yes, thank you for doing it. Because when they don't, it makes you crazy. Okay. You can unmute yourself if you have questions, or if I just want to help everyone get their strength statement and own it. This is what I want you all to do tonight, is own that strength statement. And we're going to figure out how to apply that to every aspect of this business. I love to do everything. So when we take everything, we take that out and we'll go build power 3, earn fast starts, rank advance, sample people, enroll people, close sales, teach classes, right? Invite people, whatever activity you want to do, you just throw it in there. I love to sample in the way that honors my desire to move people forward and think, create, and learn. I love to teach classes in a way that honors my desire to move people forward and think, create, and learn. I love to sample people and follow up with them in a way that honors my desire to move people forward, think, create, and learn. You feel that? And so this is you honoring who you are with everything you do, so that you're doing it in a way that energy is highest, and you're most influential, you connect with people better, you're more strategic, and you're more productive.
Can I say something really quick, Eddie? Something that you said triggered this. So I struggle with follow-up with people, and Amy and I just haven't been able to figure it out, because I love connecting with people. So I don't know if just rewording that statement, somehow saying I love to do what I do in doing follow-up with people because I love connecting with them.
Yeah. And think about this. So when you follow up with people and you have the thought that maybe they didn't try the sample that you asked them to try, there's a fear that there's going to be a disconnect.
Yeah.
Because what happens if you call them and say, hey, did you try that sample? And they say, no, disconnect, awkward. I'm a relationship builder.
I can feel it.
Yeah. So if you call a person to follow up, and your agenda is to get them if your agenda is to find out if they sampled and then take them to the next step, you're going to always hesitate to place that phone call. Instead of placing the phone call to connect, just to connect. And then you leave it open so that if they tried it or they didn't try it, who cares? The connection will happen. And so if you all are on the daily mentor calls, which everybody should be doing right now, this is how we're solidifying blue finally, and we're going to hit presidential. Daily mentor calls. It's amazing. But there's a thing that Alicia has in there is so good, which is when she calls a person and say, hey, have you tried? The first question is, have you had time to try the sample yet? It's brilliant because it maintains the connection, whether they tried the sample or not.
Matter.
No, yeah. So in other words, relationship builders, you're going to do everything better if you connect with people with no agenda beyond it. You're going to sample people faster. You're going to follow up with people. You're going to invite people to presentations, classes, business, everything. If you just connect first and let what happens afterwards happen afterwards.
That feels so organic to me, Eddie. Thank you.
You will know what to do. Relationship builders. Okay. You are a relationship. That's what you do. This is where you're best. Go connect with the person, and then you'll know what to do when you've started talking with them.
Eddie, can I just share really quick what happened after our call?
Yeah.
So we went through our call. It was very hard. I was weepy through the whole thing because my top 5 are Amy's bottom 5, right? And so really, seriously. So Eddie was like, how are you? We were talking about the Elise Chedevy calls. And I said, I'm stuck at the second call. I haven't gone past it. And we were like, well, why? Well, because I have to do my hundreds list. Well, you're relational. Surely you have 100 people. I'm like, oh, I've got 1,000. I can't write them down. Well, why can't you write them down? Because then I have to figure out a formula to reach out to them. And I don't know how to do that because I'm not an executor. I don't understand that. And he's like, for God's sake, just go out, pick 2 people and just call them. And in the next 72 hours, I had appointments set up. I ended up enrolling 5 people this month. And it was because Eddie unleashed we stomped down the guilt and shame of who I am, because I feel like who I have felt like who I am is not valuable, but it is valuable. And when I look at it through the lens of what Eddie told me, it changed everything for me. So thank you, Eddie.
That's awesome. So Melissa, you just inspired a great quote here that's coming. I want you to write this down. Is that when we are being who we are authentically, it stops being about us. That's amazing. When I do things in my strengths, it stops being about me, and I just reach out and I bless another person's life. That's it. Right? Thank you for sharing that, Melissa. You're awesome. Seriously, this is awesome. So I want you all to think about this. And see, we haven't even, look at this. We haven't even gotten into each of the individual strengths, but look what a difference it's already making just understanding the domain energies. So your strength statement, I love to do everything in a way that honors my desire to get things done, move people forward, or whatever. That's your mission statement. That's where the energy must always flow in that direction. That's how I talk to people. So relationship builders, use the word together, right? Let's do this together. Come meet with me. Let's do this together. I'll show you how to do this. We'll do this together. Just remember that it's always about the collective doing this together. Even if you have relator, by the way, I do need to throw this in. If any one of you have relator high and includer low, some of this might not feel right. And I'll explain why. Got to know this part. The relator and includer, this is this weird little thing in here. So Gallup decided to make relator a relationship building strength. It's actually the most advanced relationship builder is a high relator. Relators are amazing at building deep, deep, deep relationships, but they only do it with a very select few because it requires time and a lot of trust. Okay? And so when, Laura, you got something you want to add there? Laura's getting excited.
Just like I'm a 28 on include, like I love to connect individually, and I feel so overwhelmed by having to connect with so many people.
Yeah. This is why I throw in the caveat, the right people. I used to think relationship builders was connect with people, but it's not. It's connect with the right people. And the right people could be 1 or 2 or 1 or 200. Includers love small talk, and they love large groups of people. Relators, the opposite. Hate small talk. Prefer small groups of people, like 1 or 2, and that's it. So I want you to understand there's a difference between those two. And so when you're connecting, you have to do it with a desire to connect with the person on a deeper level. So you kind of have to filter through a lot of people who are, they're not ready for that deep of a relationship, but relators have this really brilliant thing on their nose where they can smell a person who is inauthentic, and they can smell a person who is a little bit full of crap, and I'm going to give you permission as a relator, trust your nose on that one and just move on. It's totally cool. Okay. This is why I tend to weird out relators when they first meet me, because when they first meet me, they get me at 10, hey, and I want to give them a big hug. And relators do this. They do the side hug. I go, oh, hooray. Okay, there you go. My daughter puts her arm, I know she's a relator. She's going to take her assessment in January, but she just does this. She doesn't even put her arms around. She just puts her arms straight out because she's just like, okay, get it over with. You know what I mean? All right. Good stuff. So, all right. So your strength statement, I love to do everything in a way that honors my desire to move people forward and whatever. Your top 10 strengths are how you honor that desire. Okay. Now I'd love to go in and break down all 34 of those strengths. But it'll be another 40 minutes if I break them down. So I have recordings in my private group for those of you who want to be a part of that. You can get that. But essentially what you do is you want to understand these short descriptions for each of your top 10 strengths, and just like look at them and just say, how do I use that strength to honor the desire? How do I use for example, like for me, I have a dominant domain of moving people forward and thinking, creating, and learning. And my number 9th and 10th strengths are executing strengths. So when I look at those executing strengths, I know that I only use those specifically to help me move people forward and think and create and learn. So here's a little secret that I got in doTERRA's face about. and I was very real. I had a meeting with Russell Butters and Simone in the room when I'm talking about how there's so much more to strengths that you all need to like get on board with. And I'm sorry, I love the videos you all did. They're awesome, but they're not good enough. Because if you have strategic, number one, like I do, but you have a dominant desire to connect with people versus me, I have a dominant desire to move people forward, you and I use strategic completely differently. So you can't show me one video that's going to apply to us both. Does that make sense? So that's why when we look at those videos, we don't really get inspired into action. They're kind of cool. It's like, oh, it's kind of good to know. You know what I mean? But it's not good enough. We need more. Gallup has a podcast called Called to Coach, Theme Thursday. And besides me, and I mean this, I have number 8, my number 8 strength is competition. Besides me, this is probably the best tool, is knowing how each of the individual strengths works on a more deeper level, but you still got to apply the domains. And they don't do that. I don't know why. I've had conversations with Gallup, and the guy that runs the podcast, and he's just like, they don't have enough faith in the domains like they do the strengths themselves. So they don't feel comfortable promoting it. I'm good. I've worked with over 1,000 people. I have yet to have a person come to me and say that's not them. Every single time this works. So I'm good to go. And I use my strategic strength to figure that out. So anyway, so you got your strength statement, and then your strengths are how you do things. Any questions? How are we doing so far? Anyone stuck or anyone feeling like, I don't know about this? It's totally cool. Don't feel like you need to just go along with me because I'm super pumped and excited about this. I like it when people go, Eddie, this doesn't work with me. I'm like, oh, good. I get to learn something new. Laura says, this is amazing. Okay, cool. I love that. Thank you, Laura. All right. So no one have any, and again, don't feel shy. Just shoot it out there. I want to make sure everyone here is clear so that we're moving forward, because that's my dominant domain, right? I'm more concerned about what you all are going to do after this call than I am during this. I'm freaked out about that. So I've got to give you the tools.
What can we do after this call? How can we take this and apply it?
That's what we're going to do next. Okay.
Cool.
Eddie, I have a question for you. You were saying people who are high in relator and low in includer, that they look like they have relationship, but it doesn't look like it is. Was that your point, that they're like? Yeah,
because whenever I say relationship building, a relator tends to think of people that are super outgoing and very out there live. They're social butterflies and they move around. It's not that at all. Helping a relator understand that that's not what a relationship building is. That's more like woo, to be honest, than it is relationship building or positivity. Like people of high positivity and includer would turn off somebody with high relator and high responsibility or belief.
That's a high relator and responsibility, and my mom is the other two you said. So
there you go, right?
We do turn each other off.
They're like, man, you are so free out there with people. I'm a little bit more reserved. I'm a little bit more skeptical of people, so on. So the difference between Amy and Melissa, you all have seen it. And I loved talking with them and helping them work out the value of those two things. Lindsay says, I love the energy with StrengthsFinder and even hosted a strength event in my team. Cool. I love the numbers and the unleashing, and this is totally up my alley. I'm so going to unlock my 34 after this call. Yay. That's good. See, and here's all I did was, if you want to get someone to open up the 34, tell them about those numbers, right? Share your notes about the numbers, but the odds and chances and so on. And then you're going to share with them what I'm going to teach you all today, which is the last part, which is the bottom 5. Y'all have to know this, okay? So there's only about 5 or 6 of you that have your full 34. So what I want you to do is look at your bottom 5, okay? The 30 through 34. And, oh, by the way, I have to add this in because this is where it gets confusing. Gallup did a decent job of naming all the strengths. They did a better job than I could. So it's just, when I say decent, is because a lot of people look at the name of the strength and think they understand what the strength is. You have to understand that the name of the strength very rarely actually explains what the strength is. So I get this. Sometimes people will say like, well, I have communication low. Does that mean I can't communicate? Go back to rule number 1. Strengths have nothing to do with what you can or can't do. But no, it's, so what I want you to do is look at the strengths names and just pretend it's Japanese. Okay. That's all. It's just a random word. It doesn't, like, don't bring your drama with the word to the strengths conversation is what I'm saying. Right. So like if you saw discipline low and got disappointed, like don't feel disappointed at all. And I'll explain how. So you look at your bottom 5, and my hope is that you can see a short description of your bottom 5. And read that little description. Start with number 34, which is where you are lowest. And ask yourself, if I try to do things that way, how does it get in my way of doing things the way I want to do them per my strengths statement? Right?
You say that again, Eddie.
So how does that number 30, if I do things with that 34th strength, for me, it's harmony. Okay. So if I do things using that number 34 strength, how does it get in the way of me being able to honor my dominant domain desire? Right. So like this, for example, 34 is harmony. Harmony is, people of high harmony are very good at getting agreements from people and avoiding conflict and so on. Right. So people of high harmony believe that there's a flow of how things should or shouldn't be. People of high harmony are kind of judges of what the flow should be. And so basically, if I try to do things avoiding conflict, I can't move people forward and think and create and learn. Here's an amazing example. So when I took the strengths training at Gallup, I had a lot of conversations with them. I wanted to know everything. And the first thing I thought was interesting was okay, so does anyone here use planners? Yeah? Okay, cool. I love planners. And I asked them, I said, do you have a strengths planner? And they said, no. They literally looked at me like I had ears, like hands growing out of my ears, like I was crazy. Like, why is it crazy to ask for a strengths planner? Like a planner where you put together the things that you want to do and then you match them with your strengths. Like, it just seems like a really smart way to go. And they didn't have it. So it stuck in my head for a long time until one day after I started my private group, I wanted to create things that would guarantee my group would do the work. Because I hate teaching stuff and then people not doing something. Okay, executors and influencers, you feel me on this one. So what I would notice, I was like, okay, I want to create a strengths planner. And then the first thing that came to my mind was, okay, I don't know how to create a planner, but I know I've seen a bunch of planners. I have an idea. And I started like drawing it, and I started using my lack of artistic skills. And I started like, this is really crappy. It's not good. And then I realized, oh my gosh, what if I do this? And then I forgot I have to get Gallup's permission if I'm going to do a strengths planner. So I called Gallup and I had a conversation with them, and I found out I have to pay $6,000 licensing fee plus 15% of everything if I sell them, 15% of all the profits forever. And I was like, okay, all right. So then I started going, all right, going back to the drawing board, how do I do this? And I literally started to do things in a way that was like trying to avoid conflict with Gallup. And I didn't realize this was happening until I started getting angry and frustrated. And then I started telling my wife about how frustrated I am with this planner. And my wife is an executor. You think she cares about me trying to create a planner? She's like, no, Eddie, when are we going to sample somebody and enroll them in doTERRA? But no, I'm complaining and whining about this planner that I want to create that I have no idea how to do over. And I'm just like, but I have to do it. And finally, this whole thing comes to a close. This conversation with my wife comes to a close where she says, Eddie, right now, stop. I just want to throat punch you. She literally said that. I just want to throat punch you. You guys are all feeling me right now. The energy that I'm putting out is so not who I am. And then I finally said, I stopped for a second and I looked at my bottom strength and I go, dang it, harmony. I'm doing it. I'm trying to do it that way. And then I go, well, what's my number one strength? The strategic. And my number one is strategic was to think multiple different ways of doing things and picking the best one, right? Number two strength is activator, getting an idea and then just going with it, roll with it, call people. And I thought, oh, I need to call people. So I called 2 people. I got on the phone with a friend of mine who is a graphic designer. And I said, hey, do you know how to put together planners? She's like, Eddie, I do this for a living. What do you want? I talked to her for 30 minutes, explained to her what I want the planner to look like. She says, I'll send you a demo or whatever. I'll send you a basic one done. I was like, awesome. And then I called another friend of mine who used to coach under Bob Proctor. Y'all know who Bob Proctor is? He's like Tony Robbins in like the 1940s, okay? He's like 90 years old. He's still out there doing his thing. Awesome guy. So my friend Tony was trying to put together a program based on something he learned from Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor wanted to charge him $25,000 to use his stuff. Tony got in touch with a lawyer that helped him understand how he could do what he needed to do without Bob Proctor stuff being in there. Tony taught me it all. He's like, here's what you do. Just do it this way and you don't have to worry about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. And within 2 days, the planner, the first edition of the planner was done. Done. And that was 3 months ago. And the final revised version is here. It's right here. This is, I think this means I'm a published writer. I don't know. Anyway, it's just a planner. Here's what's cool. So basically it's a daily planner that helps people just like make lists of what they want to get done and write down their strengths and apply them. That's simply it. What's really cool about my planner, because I wanted to make it more than just a planner, is so it's a 90-day planner, by the way. So you put in 3 months, like this is what I'm gonna do for the next 3 months. I'm gonna push my life, my business, everything, not just business. It's everything, health, relationship, all that stuff. And we got these little QR codes in there. They're kind of like spread out throughout the binder so that, and this is like a really nice, like this is like, it's so beautiful, so cool. It's got all these little QR codes in there. So you scan them and then you get to watch a video of me using the planner. So basically it's like you're doing the planner with me. I didn't want to just create a planner and say, here, figure it out. I wanted you to know how I do it. And so you do it with me, which is super awesome. So I just got these and I'm actually just giving them away right now. The only people that can buy them are people that are part of my private group. So I'm giving them away. I do a drawing every Saturday for free. All you got to do is you go to unleashmystrengths.com. Don't go on that website right now, but write it down. Do it after we're done here. When you go to unleashmystrengths.com, you can put in your name and email and you get entered into win a drawing. I do it every Saturday on that morning call that I do. I give away 1 or 2. I've given away like 9 in the last 2 weeks. So anyway, that's what I want you to think about, right? When it comes to your bottom strengths. So here's what I learned. If using my bottom strengths drains me physically, and then I end up doing weird things that make everybody else around me uncomfortable, throat punch, comment, right? If it drains me and it makes everybody else around me uncomfortable, why do I do it? And again, I've talked to over almost 1,000 people about this, and this is the best I've been able to come up with. It's because instinctively in the moment, it happens so fast, like the blink of an eye. You don't even know what's happening. But in that moment, you doubted that you were the right person for whatever it is you wanted to do. For the strategic thinkers and relationship builders, it's the thought that you think that who you are is not enough. And for the dominant executor influencers, it's I'm worried I'm going to be too much. And so when you think you're not enough or you're too much for whatever reason, you stop being who you are. And I don't know why, but we just go right down to the bottom. We go to the bottom 5. We don't mess around. When we doubt ourselves, we really screw this up, right? we just make a mess of it. How many of y'all ever just got angry and said something was totally out of character for you, did not get you where you wanted, and in the end, you just ended up beating up yourself, right? We just, like if I can't figure out how to do it my way, I just trash it. And so for high executors and influencers, they hold back. They don't say what they really want to say inside. Okay, this is Amy, my friends, right? Or Melissa, who's a relationship builder, doesn't say what she really wants to say inside because out of fear of, by being honest, it's not going to be enough. You know, this is why. And so what I do here, and I want you to think about this. When you go out on this world, on the world, and you go to try to sample people authentically and so on, when you go out and like life is like a minefield. Okay, I want you to think about this. Does anyone know? Has anyone ever tried to walk through a minefield, a real minefield? So I always ask this because one person actually said yes. No? Okay. So what's dangerous about a minefield is that no matter, it's like you can't tell where they are. You could step on one in any Legos, right? You can step on. So like imagine Legos that you couldn't see, right? They're like invisible Legos and you're walking barefoot. How do you get through this minefield without getting hurt. I want you to think about this right now. How do you get through the minefield without getting hurt? No one, no ideas? That's how you're rolling in life right now. When we have the strengths assessment, it starts to give us a tool to be able to avoid the mines, but ultimately still, even though we know what our strengths are, we're still going to step on mines. Danielle says, great, I need a map. Brilliant, right? Cool. So if you get a map, who here, if I handed you a map, you would feel comfortable to go through the minefield? Kinda. Let's be honest.
Not Emily. Anybody but Emily. Do not give her a map.
Okay. Kinda, right? Because who knows who wrote that map, when that map was written, and so on. Right? Kinda. But what we really need is we need someone who knows where the mines are, and we need to follow them. That's it. So that we can find out, so that we know where the mines are, right? And we step where they aren't. That's me. I want to be that for everybody. And so that's why my private group and so on is so crucial. I can't just jump on a call and say, here you go, good luck. I need to be there to walk people through this minefield, which is life, to keep you moving your business faster. So let's talk about, real quick, this is really stupid simple. You're going to love this. So when you look at your dominant domain, what are the activities that we have to do in doTERRA? Number one is we got to make a list of the people that we know and care about, that we're going to sample. And if we're not going to sample them, we're going to ask them for a referral, one way or another, right? So we make a list. This is money-making activity. You make a list of the names of people you're going to invite you're going to reach out to, whether you're going to invite them to sample or you're going to invite them to point you in the direction of someone who would be interested in what you have. I want you to think about, how do you do that in a way that honors your desire to, okay? Executors, this is easy, because executors make lists all the time. No problem. Boom, 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 right? Influencers, no problem. You look at that list. These are people that potentially could move forward in some way, shape, or form. So when you're an influencer, how you make a list is you make a list of names of people who you don't know where they are in life. Let's call them and find out where they are, so we can find out where they want to go, so we can find out how they want to get there. So then most importantly, we can help them find out how I can help them do this. So your list is literally potential people to move forward. As a relationship builder, it's people to connect with. Everything in doTERRA must be a relationship building tool, whether you're in making a list, inviting, presenting, closing, and so on. Everything is a relationship building tool. So you're making your list with the desire to connect with people with no agenda. And as a strategic thinker, you're making a list of people to learn from. Just like you would make a list of podcasts to listen to, or books to read, or trainings to attend, or workshops to watch, or whatever. Right? If you're a high strategic thinker, you like to make lists of things you want to take in. So you're now going to make lists of people that you're going to learn from. And what are you going to learn? You're going to learn what their problems are. How long have they had those problems? What are they doing to solve those problems, and why isn't it working? Or what's not working? Right? And then you're going to help them move the next step along. All right. So how do we close? This is a good one. I love doing it. So relationship builders. Relationship builders, you're going to do it best when you connect with people by having them tell you about their problems and how they would like those problems to go away. And the more questions you ask about their problems, the less you will think about you and more about helping them solve those problems. You also have to understand that relationship builders, severing an arm to help a one-armed man does not help a one-armed man. So stop giving oils away, relationship builders. Okay? How you help them is you show them how to get them for themselves. But then you add this. Here's my problem. Here's your problem. Here's your problem. Here's your problem. Here's what you want. Here's kit 1. Here's kit 2. Both of these will help you. This one will help you a little faster than the others. That's why it's a little more expensive. Pick one, and we will do this together. Relationship builders close that way. Pick one, do this together. Executors, Make a list. Here's your problem. 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 Here's a solution. Here's a solution. Here's a solution. Here's kit 1. Here's kit 2. Pick one. I don't care which one. The only bad pick is not picking one. So pick one or the other, and I will show you how to do this step by step. See, there's a difference, right? Relationship builders, let's do it together. Executors, I'm just going to tell you what to do step by step, and you need to do it. Okay? Influencers, here's where you are. 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 Here's where you want to be. Here's where you want to be. Here's where you want to be. Here's where you want to be, right? Your back pain, stress, whatever. You want to have less back pain, no medications, no stress, right? Or whatever. Well, here's kit 1. Here's kit 2. This one will help you get there faster than this one. Pick one, and I'll help you get from where you are to where you want to be the way you want to get there. Okay, that's the influencers. The strategic thinkers. First, you have a mountain of knowledge and information you'd love to give to people. Stop giving it to them until after they buy the oils. So I want you to understand that this knowledge and this information, this science that you've accumulated is massively valuable, but only to people who have the tool, right? You can drop all kinds of information on a person before they buy oils, but they won't buy oils because you've just overwhelmed them. Instead, you say, all right, you've got this problem, you've got this problem, you've got this problem. I've learned so much about you, right? I've learned so much about you, and I've learned where you want to go. Here's kit 1, here's kit 2. This one will help you get there faster than this one. That's why it's a little more expensive. It's got more in there. But no matter which one you pick, right, I will work with you and share with you all the knowledge I've learned in less than an hour. That's the wellness consult, right? I'll share it all with you in less than an hour. All the massive amounts of information I have, you'll get it all in less than an hour once you get the tool. Good, Lindsay, right? So understand that when you dump all that information on them and they don't buy, you've just robbed them of their ability to take care of themselves. Don't do it. Empower them instead. Here's kit 1, here's kit 2. Pick one, and I'll give you everything I know in less than an hour in a way that's relevant to you. All right. So those are the 4 different ways you can close just by using your strengths. We're running out of time here, and I know that I hope you guys got a lot of awesome stuff. And I hope that you are all excited about going out and building your business right now. We got like about a week left to the end of the month, right? Is anybody real close to a rank right now? Okay. So take this desire you have to think, learn, and create, or connect with the right people, or move people forward, or get things done to another level and do the work at a higher level, right? Push and be you with everything you do. And this is the last thing I want to share before I just share one more cool thing. There's a cool little formula I came up with. And this makes me happy, okay? So this also makes me move. You have been gifted with unique talents and strengths. Okay? These are who you are, infinitely unique compared to anybody. When you, put them into action. For example, if you got a lot of relationship building strengths and you're staring at your back office, you're not using your strengths. Okay? So stop doing that. So if you take your unique talents and strengths and put them into action, you're going to create results. The results are just results, good or bad, it doesn't matter. You're going to create results or experiences. Now, if you are being who you are, when you're trying to put these things in action, the experiences you're going to create are going to be positive. And all you got to do is just stack them up, as many as you can. little ones. Like, oh, I'm a relationship builder. I got someone to try a sample. Or I'm an executor. I got someone to actually use the oils that I taught them how to do, whatever. You start stacking up all these little results or these experiences. And at some point, you will finally believe. You will get what's called certainty. Certainty is beyond confidence. Okay, I'm not confident I have a right hand. I'm certain. Just like I'm not confident that I can lead you through the minefield. I know I can because I've done it and I can do it. And that's all I want to do for the rest of my life. And I've done that because I've created enough experiences over the last 2 years that have gotten me to believe the certainty that who I am is all I need to be. That's it. I am enough. That's it. I'm enough. So when I've got my private groups and I've got my things, I don't know how long it's going to take for a person to finally believe that they're all they need to be. I don't know how long. So my group is not a 1-month group, 6-week group, 90-day group, bull crap. I finally realized it needs to be a lifetime group because what I'm trying to teach is 7.7 billion people how to love themselves. I've got some work to do. So in my group right now, I've got like 500 people and I'm constantly trying to figure out ways using the internet to attract more people to be in there because I just want the world to love them who they are. I honestly believe if I can get an individual, one person to love who they are, then I can get 2. And if I can get 2, I can get 4. If I can get 4, I can get 400, right? So I've got 500 people in my group. When I first opened the group, right now, the group cost, okay, by the way, in the group, I've got tons of already done content. I've got 2 6-week pushes already recorded. You can go in there and start watching all that stuff. I've got like 10 videos and that you can use to stay out of your bottom 5 strengths, right? Plus in that group, I'm still doing live videos and presentations. Everybody that's a member of my group gets all of my trainings forever. They don't ever pay again. Once they pay and they're in, that's it. They're in forever. Because I just want them to pay once so that they're in and then boom, that's it. There's a million wellness advocates doing this business. I got plenty of people to work with. So, where was that? Oh yeah. So once you're in forever, so it's $297 to join my group. Or if you want, you can pay 4 payments of $97. But Amy and Melissa are, like I said, family. So if you're on her team, you're on mine. I want to make this as easy as possible. So if y'all want to join my group tonight, you can do this and I will give you $100. So instead of $297, you can do it for $197 and you're in forever. Here is, I'm going to put the link in my, in the Zoom here. You can use that link if you want, or you can message me on Facebook. And here's the link. Okay, actually, you know what? Let me do this real quick. You can go on Facebook. If you have Facebook Messenger, this works really well. You can go to this link, m.me/grow with Eddie. You go to that link and it'll send you to Facebook Messenger and all you have to do is message me. So it'll say get started. You click get started and then you message me the word or the number 100. Okay, I just set this up right before here, so I want to make it easy for everybody to get $100 off. You type in the word 100 and you'll get the link right on your phone and you can get access to my group forever. That's the easiest way to do it. So what else is in here? I want to give you some more. Everybody that joins my group gets, remember I told you, I want people to do the work. So everybody that joins my group, I will mail you one of these planners. I want to make sure that you're doing life your way, not just your business, your health, your relationships, your marriages, whatever you got going on, we're going to do this your way. So I'm going to mail you a planner once you decide to join the group. So you don't have to pay for it. And you'll get it in about a week. Also, I'm so serious about making sure that you're doing this, that when you join my group, you're also going to get an automated sequence. It's 45 audios. You're going to get one audio a day from me that is 2 minutes long, that will teach you to systematically how to use your number one, your number two, your number three, all of this to build your business. And you'll get an audio from me automatically every single day for 45 days. That's how serious I am. Like, I'll give you a planner, 45 days of audios, all the trainings. Plus, I'm doing a workshop on Tuesday that is all about getting people out of their bottom 5 strengths. And so that workshop is it's live for free for everybody, but I'm pulling it on Sunday, and I'm adding it to the private group for life. So you'll be able to get that. Here, let me just show you real quick one more thing, and then I'll let y'all go. And by the way, if you have any questions, just message me or comment or whatever. Just shoot it in there. So unleash your strengths. Here we go. Where is it? Okay, here we go. So Unleash Your Strengths is this community that I'm creating, where we're doing strengths with marriages, business, relationships. I'm going to be coming out with strengths for teens, strengths for parenting, strengths for improving your health, your belief in yourself, all of that stuff. I've got lots of work to do, but just so you can see how much I've already done. If you click on the unit section of this group, you can see I've got a mapped out 6-week push right here that starts with a 2-hour goal setting workshop. Relationship builders hate goal setting. I get that, because relationship builders think goal setting is promise making. And so what I teach them in this workshop, for example, is that goal setting is not promise making. It's just target setting. It's like laying out a big target, and you've got unlimited arrows to hit that target. That's what goal setting is. And so I take them through 6 weeks here. You can watch those. I can teach you about, and here there's also about the domains like we talked about. This is how much we covered here, just this little section here. Here, how we authentically sell. We talked about that. There's some strength secrets that I found out that nobody, even Gallup and doTERRA, aren't talking about. Like, for example, your anchor strength and what your anchor strength is in your top 10. I can't go into it because I'll talk for too long, but it's in there. Recordings of me working with people one-on-one, tons of them. So you can see with people with different strengths, how they overcome fears and do the work and move forward. A 30-day challenge and how to use your strengths every single day for 30 days. I mean, like, there's more. There's 8 videos here on how to overcome fears with strengths, how to stop being salesy, how to attract builders. When you need motivation, when you doubt yourself, there's another 8 videos here. Like, stop strength shaming, which is something a lot of people do. It makes me crazy. There's a whole video here where I talk about, like, basically stop shaming who you are with your strengths, which is crazy. Anyway, awesome stuff. I hope you all are choosing to be a part of this, because, like, for me, this is a movement to help change the world. And you guys will all be there. This is, right now, I'm in the first year of doing this. So you can all say you were part of it when Eddie first started it. I also have a workshop. It's coming up. This will be the last thing I'll say. I'm hoping everybody here qualifies, but even if you don't qualify, you can still come. I'm doing a workshop the day before leadership in Phoenix, Arizona. I got a space at the convention center where the leadership is going to be held. And so on the 10th, before leadership, I'm doing a 6-hour full workshop, so that when you go into leadership, or whether you're going to leadership or not, you're going to be like really loving on who you are and applying it even more than what we did here in an hour and a half. You guys see, we can go longer, right? But can't. I promised Amy it would only go an hour and a half. So I hope you all got some great stuff. If anyone has any questions, I'll stop now. You all got the link. You know how to be in part of the group. I'm going to encourage you all to do this, and I'll send you. And by the way, for those that are watching the recording of this, I will honor the discount for those that are watching the recording. Okay, Amy, so you can pass that along as well. And so there's the link one more time to click get started and type in the number 100. Just message me with that number, and you'll get a link to get the $100 off. And it'll walk you through how to get into all the videos and stuff. And again, I'm here for you as well. Okay, Amy, or anybody else, you have any questions, and I'm here for you as long as you need me.
I know some people probably have questions, and Sonia, you had a question about how often should you take the test, the StrengthsFinder test.
Good question. Okay, so Gallup will tell you only have to do it once. And I learned that the reason why they don't want people to take it multiple times is because every time you take it again, you start to anticipate the questions, and it can affect the authenticity of your answers. So that's the main reason why Gallup says only do it once. Personally, I took it once, and I'm still learning who I am. If I feel like if I take the assessment again, it's going to scramble them, and I'm going to have to relearn who I am again, because the strengths can move around based on a shift in your desires. So I'll be real with you. I will probably take it again in about 4 years. That's kind of like, I feel like by then I'll have a pretty good grasp of who I am. So that's my answer to that. Hopefully I do in 4 years. Praying that I do. Any other questions? Mine move around from 2009, 2017. Totally, yes. Absolutely, Amy. They do move around.
Okay, Eddie, I've got a completely unrelated question.
Okay.
Your wife posted a picture of the entire family standing in couples. And I know you guys are like 6'7", but there was a guy there that was like 7 feet tall, a couple of them. Are those her brothers?
Yeah, those are all her brothers.
And they're like 7 feet tall because everyone was like standing flat heeled.
Yeah, I look like a little child standing next to them. I'm 6'7", and I look tiny. I played basketball with those guys too, by the way. They're mean.
So they are 7. They had to be about 6'9" or so.
So the way Angela's brothers are, so her oldest brother is the shortest, and he's shorter than Angela. But then after that, there's 3 other brothers. One's 6'9", the other one is 6'11", the other one's 7'1". And I love standing with those guys. I look up. I have to look up.
I remember when we first met you at convention years ago, and I was across the room. We'd been stalking you guys, and I saw that Amy was talking to somebody, and then all of a sudden I looked, and she was like this. And I thought, who is Amy talking to her that I've never seen? She was talking to you guys. It was awesome. Thank you very much for everything.
Yeah, this has been amazing, Eddie. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm honored, and anything I can do for you all in the future. I've got plenty of work to do, so I'm here for you anytime. All right. Any other questions, Amy? I'll let you. This is your call, so I'll let you wrap up how you want, or you might want to start telling people what to do. I don't know. It's up to you. This is your call. But I'll let you. Amy's an executor, my friend. So
No, I'm not going to say anything because I'm with my relational people. Don't execute. Do whatever you want. Do what makes you happy. And
feel good about it. Feel happy.
I can tell you with relationship builders, I know their business is growing if they're on the phone with people. That's it, and they're connecting. And it's funny. I know that like strategic thinkers, businesses are growing when they're on the phones with people. I know that influencers, businesses are growing when they're on the phones with people. And I know that, right? So it's like you're on the phones with people, but you're doing it your way. So everything that you're told to do to build the business, like in the daily mentor calls, you do those things, but you do them your way.
Mm-hmm.
And that means to connect or move people forward or whatever.
So apply this, darn it, because it's good stuff. Am I right? But apply it your way.
Don't do it. You have 24 hours actually to put this into action. Otherwise you go back to being who you were before this call was, and that's just going to bum me out. So you have to go do things. You have to go do things like fast. If you can message people tonight to talk to you tomorrow, that would be a smart idea, because it's still right now, the energy is high. You're ready. Message some people. Hey, you got some time tomorrow? I want to talk to you. Hey, you got some time tomorrow? I want to talk to you. Relationship builders, stop texting full sentences and long information. Just send a text message saying, hey, do you got some time? I want to talk. That's it. Right? Because when you send messages like, hey, how you doing? I was just thinking about you. I was wondering if you were interested. Like, wrong. Stop. Just, hey, how you doing? Can we talk tomorrow? That's it. That's it. And then you get on the phone and you connect. So it was a fun little extra. I love this. All right.
All right.
Well, I love you all. If you have any questions, message me directly. And then I hope to see you all in my group. And then we've got more stuff going on. And the best way to follow me, of course, on Facebook. And I'm just always putting something out. So have a good night, everybody.
Bye, Eddie. Thank you.
Bye.